Hey beautifuls, so I am here at the World Class Presenters Masterclass and we have just been working on what's called the authority model, and I've only got about 5 minutes before we have to go back in, but I wanted to show you, and I wanted to briefly speak to stuff that's been coming through for me, but I wanted to show you this beautiful view that I have right now. So this is the villa, Vision Villas. It's so beautiful. Okay, that's all you're getting for now. So we're just at lunch and I was talking about exploring, well, what I do, like I've got a retreat coming up that I'm co-facilitating in Bali in January. And I was just talking about what we're going to be exploring, and so it's called the Art of Loving. And it's a tantric soul immersion, and really, hey love, really what this is about is really getting out of the conditioning that we have to be a certain way to be loved. So exploring what's called the personality that we create. These are our stories, roles, identities, and patterns that we create to get love and approval. And we play these out throughout our whole life, and mostly unconsciously. We have no idea that we're doing it, and these repeat things keep happening, and ultimately we're just trying to get loved. And really we have to dive into looking at these, looking at the wounds and the triggers and the stories and the patterns and the roles and identities that we play that actually stop us from sourcing and feeling our own love, which is where our soul is, okay? Because our soul is, we're an embodiment of love. Like, love is not something that we try and get or find, it's something we already are. And it's just the conditioning that we have to decondition and unlearn that everything we've been conditioned, basically, so that we can crack our hearts open and feel the love that we already are. So that's a huge part of the work that I do. And so in this authority model that I've been creating here, which is going to be coming into when I do my presentations, the words that came out for me was like having the freedom to love without conditions. And it's basically, what if we had the freedom to love someone without any attachment to them, without any attachment of how wanting something from them, wanting a response from them, wanting them to love us back, wanting them to show up in a certain way so that we feel safe and loved in return, right? This is just an example, right? And what if we could love someone from afar, like completely from afar? They might even not know that we love them, right? Loving them without condition, or then that they have to show up a certain way towards us so that we feel safe and loved, right? And then also being loved without condition. And what if we could just show up in our full self-expression? We could show up wholeheartedly and be showing up in a way that isn't trying to get love or approval. Like, what does that look like? What does that feel like? And it is about this deconditioning, right? It is about the deconditioning of the personality that we've created, which we have this part of our brain that creates this, which is our instinct, and creates it for survival so that we don't get abandoned from the tribe, basically. And ultimately, it's abandonment of our own love, is what I believe. That's where the abandonment sits, right? Like our self-abandonment. So yeah, so I just wanted to speak to this quickly, and the things that are currently on my authority model are compassion and the importance of self-compassion, because self-compassion is the precursor to self-love. And it's about being yourself without judgment. It's being with yourself, like seeing yourself through the eyes of love, and then seeing others through the eyes of love. If you could come and just be with someone without judgment, right? What does that look like? What does that feel like? And how can you see this person through the eyes of love, right? And then the other piece with vulnerability is really looking at, well, vulnerability is going, like having the willingness to be vulnerable, even if someone doesn't like me or love me. You know, vulnerability is part of us, you know, dropping into having that freedom of full self-expression, right? And then the other piece of this is also embodiment, is how can I embody being the love that I am? How do I need to show up? If I fully love myself, how would I show up? How would I treat myself? What boundaries would I have in place? What do I need to heal that's blocking me from feeling this love? What are the wounds and the traumas and triggers that come up for me? You know, what are the things I project onto others? What are the expectations that I have that I need to work through that are actually blocking me from feeling the love that I already am? Because ultimately that is the part of me that's not feeling complete, because you are already complete, you are already whole. It's only the conditioning, that's not allowing you to feel that. And it's also the conditioning that it's not safe to feel, right? That you know, your emotions are not safe. This kind of conditioning that we can have, when actually this is where your freedom is. This is where your full freedom to be fully self-expressed. And someone said to me recently that that freedom isn't necessarily a value, it's what having freedom gives you. So for me, it's self-expression, and it's the freedom to fully show up every day as myself, no matter what anyone thinks, right? And this is something I'm still working on, right? Like some of you guys probably think, oh, Ida just shows up and expresses whatever. Like, this has taken a lot of work to get where I am, but I still have the vulnerabilities. I still care what people think. I still have all of that. It's just a lot lesser than it's ever been before. Definitely compared to how I used to be. But I'm very self-aware of when I'm showing up in this way of trying to get needs met or trying to get love and approval, and I'll call myself on and go, Asia, you're showing up in this way because that isn't really completely 100% true to your soul. And why is that? Like, what is it that's going on there? And what is that conditioning that's led you to believe you have to show up as anything but yourself? And maybe it's the discovery of, like, is that really me, or is that what I think I should be based on my conditioning? And that's a constant lifelong discovery, is what I believe. Like, that we can constantly having this lifelong discovery to decondition ourselves so that we can really feel the love that we are. And part of that is that we are conditioned that love is outside of ourselves, and that's found in a soulmate, or that's found in the one, right? That's why I've called my book Becoming the One, because it's not about actually you becoming the one for someone else. It's about you becoming the one for you first, right? And that might be just becoming the one for you. Like, there might be no first in there. Because when you really truly become that, you go on this journey, and then people will show up in reflection to that, and you'll meet other people that are on the journey of becoming the one, right? And then you can have healthy, conscious connections with people rather than unhealthy connections where you're trying to get needs met, and you're playing out your roles and patterns, you're playing out identities, and actually avoiding really feeling the vulnerabilities that you need to feel to be truly who you are, and that keeps you in these personalities and these roles and identities and patterns, and I call these wound mate connections based on past wounds, and those wound mates keep coming up until you go, okay, I need to heal this shit. I need to see why I keep attracting this. Why did I keep attracting this people or this situation or this experience? Why do I keep feeling abandoned, rejected, not wanted, not chosen? Why do I keep experiencing that? And until you fully choose, I'm not going to experience this anymore, and choose, like, okay, I've got to really look at what I need to feel and heal, and what role identity I've been taking on to keep myself safe. And I have to have the willingness to go into something that doesn't feel comfortable, something that doesn't feel safe, something that feels super vulnerable, somewhere that I've never been before, that feels like it's the unknown. And that's where your liberation is, right? And that's your liberation into love, right? That's your liberation into the love that feeling the love that you already are, which ultimately is what we're actually really seeking. We're not conditioned, we're conditioned that it's outside of ourselves. Okay, everyone's walking in. I was supposed to go for a swim and I didn't get time because I got really excited about sharing this with you guys. But obviously it needed to be said. So I hope you got a beautiful piece of some value out of this, or some kind of aha. And of course, all the processes and tools and guidance will be in my book of how to do this, right? Of how to decondition yourself and come back into the love that you are, embodying that. And these are tools you can use for the rest of your life. So I'll pop the link in the comments below to the notification list of when it's going to be released. And yeah, okay, so I hope you have an epic, beautiful, amazing, juicy, loving day. I'm going to head back in.